awkward. You caught me off guard again. I was just trying to cool myself down. I got sunburned just the other day, and well, I'm quite hot, so just remember to put the sun cream on. But it is beautiful weather at the minute, isn't it? Anyway, this is all besides the point. Let's just get straight into the episode. Welcome to Explorers episode 6, and we've got some news to tell you. This is the last episode, of our series. Don't worry, this won't be the last episode we're doing, but this is the last episode looking at parables of Jesus and codebreakers. And so without further ado, we're going to head over to James Pond for the final time. The name's Pond. James Pond. Agents, boys and girls, welcome to your final challenge. You have completed many codes over the past weeks and months, but today we have one final one. But first, the answer to last week's code. The answer to the code was, well, let's have the code again first. The code was this: what is full of holes yet still holds water? Did any of you get the answer? The answer was a sponge. This week's code is this: what has a face? It has 2 hands, yet no arms and legs. I will repeat the code. What has a face and 2 arms, not 2 arms. I meant to say 2 hands. What has a face and 2 hands, but no arms and legs? That's the code. Find out the answer to the code later in this episode. That's all for now and forever. Agents, it's been emotional, but goodbye. Well, emotional times. That is the last time we're going to see James Pond. He is just a great guy. Anyway, get thinking about that code, because the answer will be at the end of this episode. But next, we're on to our next parable, and it is the parable of the unforgiving servant. Parable of the unforgiving servant. Meet the king.
Hello there! I'm King Nana, and this is my trusty guard kitten Fluffles. She protects me from the baddies. Now, I've been counting my money here, and I realised I'm a few coins short. Now, I lent someone some money, and they've not paid me it back yet, so I'm going to see if they have it. Wilson, are you there? Join me in my palace. I have to settle up with you.
Meet Wilson. He owes the king a lot of money, and he's very scared. The king wants to see me. This isn't going to be good. King.
Oh, Wilson! There you are. The royal courtesy, very good. Thank you. Now, have here, Wilson, you see, in my book of accounting. You owe me 10,000 bags of gold today. What say you?
Oh dear.
10,000 bags of gold.
10,000, that's what I lent you.
10,000
And it says here,
bags of gold.
today you owe me it back. All 10,000 bags, please.
King Nana. 10,000 bags of gold is so much money. I'll never be able to pay it back. 1 bag of gold is 20 years of my wages.
Yes, I quite well understand that, Wilson.
I'm never going to be able to pay it back. Please, King, be kind to me. Give me lots of time. I'll sell stuff. I don't know how I'm going to pay it back. Please, King Nana, please.
Now you see, Wilson, this is very difficult for me, as this is an extremely large amount of money.
I know, it's so much money.
However, I shall have mercy on you, and I shall cancel your debt, Wilson.
Oh, King, you are so kind and gracious. I can't thank you enough. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you. Oh,
Your debt is cancelled. You may
Thank you.
go a free man.
Thank you so much, King. Thank you. Oh,
You're welcome.
Thank you, King.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. The King has let me off my money. I can't believe it. That is so good. I owed him so much money, and now he's just cancelled the debt. That is so good. Hey, Colin! He owes me money, doesn't he? Colin, get here, Colin. Get here. You owe me money, Colin.
I know.
100 silver coins you owe
I'm
me.
so close. I've nearly got it. It's just so much money.
What do you mean you nearly got it?
It's 100 days wages.
I've been waiting for that money.
I'm so
You
close.
owe me 100 silver coins and I want it
I know,
now.
I'm sorry. I was so close. Just give me a few more days. A few more days and I'll have
A
it.
few more days?
Yeah, a few more days. That's all I need.
That is not on. Guards, grab him, throw him into prison. He owes me money.
Some of the servants saw how unfairly Wilson had treated Colin, so they went and they told the king, and they told him everything they saw. And when the king found out, he was raging with anger. He was furious.
Wilson!
Guards, bring me Wilson. Kneel before me, Wilson. Now tell me,
Yes,
remember that debt you owed me?
yes, King. You were so
How
kind.
much was it, Wilson?
It was 10,000 bags of gold.
And of this man I've heard that you've thrown in prison. And how much did he owe you?
But he owed me so much money.
How much, Wilson?
He owed me like a lot of money.
I hear it was yet 100 silver coins.
That's correct.
Tell me, Wilson, which is bigger out of 100 silver coins and 10,000 bags of gold?
10,000 bags of gold, King.
That is correct, Wilson. Yet I show you mercy, and you cannot show your servant mercy. You are a wicked man.
King, no.
Guard, throw him in jail.
No, King, I'm sorry.
I have spoken. Colin, you're free to go. You, get in there.
No. It stinks in here.
So what does the parable mean? Well, we are like this guy. And God, well, he's like the king. We're like Wilson because just like in the story, remember he owed the king so much. Well, we owe God big time. Now you might be a bit confused because you might be thinking, I don't owe God any money. But no, I don't mean we owe God money. We owe God a huge debt that has a price to be paid, and that is because of our sin. Now, sin is simply when we say in our life, shove off God, I'm in charge, no to your ways. It's when we live for ourselves, when we don't care about God, when we're selfish and mean to others, or when we tell lies just to save our own back. Well, all of those things are sin, and the Bible says it has a huge price to be paid. Just like Wilson, who owed the king a huge amount. Can you remember how much he owed the king? That's right, 10,000 bags of gold. Now, Wilson said it would have taken him 20 years to save up for one bag of gold. So to save up for 10,000 bags of gold, it would have taken him 200,000 years. Now, he could never pay that off, could he? He was never going to be able to save up long enough to pay the king back. It was a price he could never afford. And well, our sin is like that. We can't do anything on our own to sort out the sin problem. Now, think back to the story.
When he couldn't pay that money to the king, what do you think he deserved? Well, he probably deserved to go to jail, didn't he? And our sin, our huge sin debt that we owe God, well, that deserves to be punished too. But think back to the story and what happened next. See, what did the king do when Wilson pleaded with him and asked him for forgiveness? Well, the king showed Wilson mercy. Now you might be wondering, what does mercy mean? Well, mercy simply means this. It means when we don't get what we deserve. Wilson definitely deserved to go to prison. But instead, the king forgave him and said, "You don't owe me anything. I've forgotten and wiped out all the money you owe me." And well, God is like that king. If we go to God and say sorry for all the wrong things we've done and ask him to forgive us for our sin, then God will forgive us. And he'll show us mercy. And well, we won't get the eternal separation from God like we deserve. Instead, one day we will forever be with him in heaven. But God works a little bit differently to this story. Because remember the king, well, he just wiped the debt clean. But God is a fair and just God. He's perfect. And so, someone has to pay the price. And so instead, what God did is he sent his only son Jesus, and Jesus died on the cross and took the punishment we deserve so that we can have our sin problem wiped away, wiped clean. Jesus took the punishment for me and for you. Now, how would you feel if you were Wilson in the story and you'd had all that debt, all that money you owed, wiped clean? Well, you'd be over the moon, wouldn't you? You'd be so happy, so thankful. Well, we should be even more thankful to God who dealt with our sin problem. It should change the way we live, really, shouldn't it? But here's a question for you. Should we always forgive others? Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, it's good to forgive other people. But what about when that person has been really mean to you? Or what about if you've lent to someone, maybe your brother, maybe your sister, or maybe just a friend, if you've lent them a toy and they've broken it? Do you forgive them or do you get angry at them? Well, sadly, a lot of the time we are like Wilson. Now, just quickly remember, Wilson had just been forgiven and had his debt cancelled for 10,000 bags of gold. Yet he so quickly forgot that and wouldn't forgive a man who owed him a tiny amount in comparison. Wilson's debt would have taken him 20,000 years to save up for. Yet this man Colin, he could have got the money in 100 days. Yet Wilson didn't forgive him. And sadly, often we can be like Wilson and we forget what God has done for us. We forget how much God has forgiven us for. And well, when someone does something wrong to us, when someone's mean to us, we get angry. We're mean. We don't forgive them. And when we hurt other people, well, it hurts God. Because God has given up everything to forgive us. Yet we're not willing to forgive other people. So the answer to that question, should we always forgive people? Well, it's yes. Because God has forgiven us so much. And so we should forgive others. We need to not be like Wilson and angry and selfish. But we need to be kind. We need to be patient. We need to be loving to those people who wrong us. Why? Because God loved us so much that he forgave us our huge sin problem. And well, that is the meaning of the parable of the unforgiving servant.
Well, what a great story, and you know what time it is now. It's time for Crafty Competition. That's right. This is the time when you at home need to get involved. What you need to do is you need to make a craft. It could be a painting, it could be a picture, it could be a 3D model, it could be a reenactment, anything of the story this week, the parable of the unforgiving servant. And then we want you to send them in to this email address below. And if you send your crafts in, then we will show them on the next episode of Explorers. Again, thank you to everyone who's got involved. And let's have a look at some of the best crafts we've seen from this last week. Well, thank you to everybody who sent in a craft. They are amazing. Please do keep sending your crafts in to the email address below. And, well, boys and girls, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the end of this episode. Wait. What? Okay. The caption's going. Hello? You hear me? What's going on? What's going on? Aha! That buffoon forgot about the code. So I had to take over the signal. But let's not forget, we want the answer to the final code. I will remind you of the code one more time. It was what has a face and 2 hands, but no arms and legs. Do you know the answer? Well, the answer is this. A clock. That's right. Well done if you got it. And agents, well done. You have excelled in your training. You have performed great challenges week after week, month after month. And so, it is emotionally, with a tear in my eye, that I bid you farewell. So long, agents.
Hello, is this thing on? Hello, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Right, I think I'm back. Good. How could I forget? James Pond, final ever appearance. Emotional. That was the code. Did any of you get it? Hope you did. Send in your crafts. This is officially now the end of Explorers episode 6. See you next time for a new fantastic series. Bye!